Okay, so by now, we've all seen the clip from the Oscars. We've all seen Will Smith and Chris Rock's altercation. And I'm not even going to replay the clip. We've all seen it. But the point of today's video is to really think about what it is you saw and what it is that happened compared to what it is that you're being told, because this applies to more than just celebrities. It applies more to just trending pop culture, TikTok, viral posts and things like that. And it's about the media, and it's about control. And the media has tons of control. We have to understand that. We have to accept that. We have to realize that. And if you don't, then you're already too far gone. I don't know if this message is really going to hit you properly. But you have to understand that if you've done any research or even just listened to the stories being told throughout the day, as this occurred last night, of what happened, why it happened, what will happen after, and they're all conflicting. And my wife, she asked me, or she told me earlier today, she goes, you know, Chris Rock's not going to file a police report. And, you know, okay. He hasn't. That doesn't mean he won't. He just hasn't. There's a statute of limitations, and he has plenty of time to decide what he wants to do. And she goes, well, apparently, and this is what she read or heard somewhere, he didn't write the joke. He just read it. So everyone thinks, or everyone's saying that, you know, everyone was in on it, and this was all a show to be put on, and Chris Rock wasn't aware. And let's just say there's some validity to the statement. Well, then that would mean that this was done intentionally. Why? It's the media. They want control. They can sit there in their think tank at the round table and say, what are we going to do this year at the Oscars? And based on what we do, we have control. So if this is true, if this was fabricated in some way, then they would create the ability to control pretty much all mediums of news and even social media to a degree, YouTube. They would be able to control it for at least a day. They would be able to control it for at least a day. However, they're going to think beyond that, and they're going to control this for as long as they can. The new conflict, because they're not going to control, nothing is going to be controlled through positivity, uplifting, helpful, growth, camaraderie, education. None of that is going to control the people, because conflict is what controls the people. Just think about Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. It's conflict. It controls the people. It controls your attention span. They put it out there. Sanctions on Russia. Vladimir Putin's proposed nuclear threats and attacks. Potential cyber attacks. Food shortages. Higher gas prices. What else is there? The list goes on. We've made videos about it. Videos will continue to be made about it. But at the end of the day, it's conflict that controls the people. So Much like Russia, Ukraine, much like wars of the past, much like, what is it, Kim and Kanye, or Kanye and Pete Davidson. It's a conflict. People want conflict. You know, what was, there's shows completely built around conflict, whether it's infidelity or fighting or gossip. There's shows just built around it. So those shows, those conflicts can control the masses. That's all there is to it. Now, with that being said, you have to understand and think about it and realize and prepare yourself for the next way that you're going to be controlled. The next conflict that's going to force you to do something that you wouldn't have done otherwise. You wouldn't have had any concern or any cares for Will Smith or Chris Rock today if there wasn't a conflict last night. So you also wouldn't necessarily run out to the store and buy up all the pasta and all the cooking oil and all the canola oil and all the avocados and all the toilet paper. Remember that toilet paper? Beginning of a massive conflict 2 years ago. But you wouldn't have done these things if you weren't controlled prior to force you to do something you wouldn't have done otherwise. So, look, we know that these conflicts exist right now. We do. But we also need to know that we only know what we are being told and shown. We don't know anything else. Unless you are there or were there, you have to understand and realize that there are three sides to every story. Your side, their side, and the truth. And unfortunately, as consumers, whether it be entertainment or media or food, water, essentials, necessities, we are consumers. We do not create the news. 9,000 times out of 10 million, the numbers don't add up, but you get what I'm saying. We're not even present. We are just being fed what we need to know to do what we need to do next, based on what someone else wants us to do. If that makes any sense. I don't know if this is coming across yet, but this is a wake-up call, a warning, a friendly chat, because I don't know you, but I like to get to know you. And actually, I've kind of gotten to know a few in the comments that I see regularly, and I appreciate that. And I do enjoy going back and forth. Thank you guys so much for the last video's engagement. I think it's over 600 comments, and I'm trying to keep up and reply to as many of them as I can. But I don't know you, but I do have this something inside of me that just makes me want to see other people do well and do better than they have been or really thought that they ever could. I know a lot of people who are very successful, and they know how great that they can be, and I feed off of them. I thrive off of them, and I learn from them. But I also know an equal amount, a greater amount of people on the flip side that have no clue of their potential and how good, how great they really can be, until someone pushes them and helps them along the way to accomplish and achieve goals that they never thought possible. I enjoy that. So, I don't know you. Maybe I'll get to know you. Subscribe if you haven't. if you enjoy the message, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy the content, if you want to get to know more about me, subscribe. I appreciate it. But I want you all to succeed. I want you all to have a fighting chance. I want you all to set goals, achieve your goals, crush your goals, set more goals, keep going. And I think that a huge component of that is really being able to understand and identify what's real and what's fake. I'm not saying that this incident between Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars, 2022 Oscars, was real or fake. I'm not saying that. But regardless, you have to make decisions based on the information provided to you. My decisions based on that brought me here today, tonight, to make this video, to share with you this message. Now, if there were to be an update about potential shortages, food shortages, for example, I'm gonna think about it logically. I'm also gonna take inventory of what I have, what I need, what I want, and then proceed from there. But not like irrationally, logically. And I want you guys to do the same thing. I don't want to bring you craziness and nonsense and fear mongering or anything like some people in the comments are like, there's no shortages. I can't believe you said there won't be any shortages. And I don't think those people are actually paying attention to what I'm saying or what the title is or the description. I think one of the videos clearly says there are no shortages here. But in another video that I know for a fact, is a Walmart video. It says shortages on the thumbnail. I don't remember exactly, but go check out the video. It says shortages on it. In that video, I specifically walked through Walmart and then eventually Publix to identify what the shelves look like on oils, pasta, and I think I did the same in Publix. And in the video, I clearly stated that there happens to be, or at least it seems to be, a shortage of particular products, particular prices, particular sizes, but not shortages in general of cooking oil or pasta. It was more of a rationale of, okay, there may be a shortage of spaghetti, but there's still linguine. So you may not be able to get the spaghetti you wanted, or the brand you wanted, or the size package you wanted, but you can still get pasta if you really wanted pasta. And that was just at that one store. You could go to a different store. You can go to Publix. You can go somewhere else. But that's the thing. We gotta be smart and think rationally and wisely, and think multiple steps ahead beyond just what I've been fed, what I've been told, and the knee-jerk reaction that they expected. Because at the end of the day, we got an uphill battle based on what we know we're up against in the very near future. Conflict is going to continuously occur, and fear is going to continuously be spread, and lawmakers and those in power are going to continuously push their agendas, and companies are going to continuously profit based on the consumers. If a company comes out and says, hey, you know what? Ford, for instance, let's say Ford comes out and says, we have plenty of semiconductor chips and we can make all the vehicles we want, all the vehicles you need. and we could offer them to you at a competitive price, far below what you're paying now after price hikes and inflation. Don't get me started on that. We got rates going up by the Fed. That's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone's paying more money now for everything that they're going to do tomorrow. Think about it. And what would happen to Ford's sales? What would happen to Ford's profits? And then what would happen to Ford's stock price and shareholder sentiment of the company if that's what they did? It would all fall apart. They would all fall apart, because we as a consumer would know that we don't need to pay $80, $90, $100,000 for a pickup truck. We don't. We don't need to pay additional dealer markup or ADM on these vehicles because they're in short supply. We wouldn't need to do that, so we wouldn't. Prices would come down, supply would increase, and the market would level out. Companies would continuously make reasonable margins, probably net 5, 6, 7%. And they would also have competition amongst their competitors. Ford would compete with GM and Ram and everyone else out there. Ford's kind of moving away from cars, so mostly truck companies that they would compete with. But they don't want to do that. And that little round table, that conference room, the think tank I was telling you about, it includes more than just Ford now. They're all together. I mean, they were together before, but they were still hungry. Now they're probably together more than ever. And they're thinking, hey, look, don't you tell them about them semiconductor chips. Don't you tell them about your supply. Don't you tell them about your production possibilities. We need to keep telling them that there's labor shortages. We need to keep telling them that there's some supply chain constraints. Hey, we need a ship to catch on fire in the middle of the ocean before it gets here full of cars. We need conflict. We need catastrophe. We need reasons that support chaos and panic, because those equal profit. And we can make more and do less at the same time. Record profits. I'm sure you've seen them. If you haven't, just do a quick Google search. Record corporate profits for 2021. You'll see it. Big corporations are not struggling. Like maybe 2020, they were a little worried, but they all got SBA support. They all got loans. They all got paycheck protection, the PPP. Millions of dollars given to them by the government. They all got it. Had a turbulent year and a half. Now, things are opening back up. People are doing what they want to do. And consumers are out buying. And these big companies, these big corporations are cashing in on it. But they're cashing in because they control the consumer by continuously making sure that they and the media and everyone else spreads the message that they want you to hear, to do what they want you to do. Majority. Some gonna hold back. Some people gonna say, I'm not buying into that. I'm not spending my money on that. That's way too expensive. It's not worth it. No, thank you. And they're the minority. The majority, most of the people who probably can't even afford, that couldn't afford it, now definitely can't afford it. And as these rates continue to go up, surely won't be able to afford it. Those are the ones buying it. It's crazy. Unbelievable how that works. Some people in real estate are probably looking at it as, I didn't really do much. My home's value appreciated, equity has been, my home has been flooded with equity. Maybe they refinanced, lowered the rate. Maybe they did make a purchase at the right time. And those people, probably smarter, more frugal, more conscious of what's really going on, may look at it and say, hey, look, I can make a calculated move here and profit off of this and find a way to sustain myself and my family for a period of time until there's some form of correction, so that I don't just take all this money I made, this profit I made, and waste it buying into the new high price. You gotta think about it. That's why the dealerships kept calling you and asking to buy your vehicles for more than what you paid for them. Because you think you're winning. You think you're winning at that moment in time. Like, whoa, I paid 40 grand for this truck, and they're gonna pay me, and I put 30,000 miles on it, and they're gonna pay me 45 to buy it back from me. And then a few months later, you're like, holy crap, the same truck is now $55,000. Where's the logic here? Think about it. But you gotta be conscious of what's going on, the information that's being pumped to you, and the reaction that you're gonna make from it. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you can use this in your day-to-day lives to make sure that you're making great moves and you're not wasting your money. You're not wasting your time either. Because sitting and gossiping about what happened on the Oscars between Will Smith and Chris Rock, I mean, unless you got a talk show that you're getting paid from, you're just wasting your time. You're not making any money from it. And the way things are going today, and potentially tomorrow, and for the foreseeable future, I think everyone's main priority should be making money. Because everything's going to continuously cost more through corporations and record high prices, increased profit margins for big companies. And if you have to borrow to buy, the rates are going up. Therefore, everything's going to cost you more to finance, to purchase. So anyway, that's my rant for today, or for tonight. I appreciate you listening. If you made it this far, subscribe. Give the video a like. Drop me a comment. I appreciate it. I'd like to hear from you. And pay attention to the information that's being spread to you, and then pay attention to the moves and reactions that you make based on that information. And don't do anything silly. Don't rush out and make any knee-jerk reactions. Be smart and think about it. Think 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of where you normally would. Where does this go from there? And hopefully that puts you in a better position than where they want you to be, which is not going to be benefiting you in the least, as you have 10-year supply of beans, 10-year supply of toilet paper, so think about it, and just don't let them make you do something that you don't want to do and you don't need to do. There's some things that you can do, that you should do, that are smart and logical and make sense. We talked about it before in a previous video about, cryptocurrency and banks having and creating more control over your money in their safes, in their vaults. And, this will be on a future video, but, the value of the dollar, the strength of the dollar globally is diminishing. So, just part of your prep should include more than just beans and rice and toilet paper and bottled water. It should include more than that, because it's going to be bigger than that. And it's not just the money either. But we'll get into that on the next one. I appreciate you guys watching. Y'all take care.